Well, we're getting closer, aren't we? We've just completed the first Bahrain. Well, I say we. F1 has just completed first week of Bahrain testing. I believe the next one is next week. I believe it is. And with that, we'd only be like a couple of weeks away from the opening race of the season in Australia. We've got a heck of a lot to go on, and we've still got 4 liveries to rate. We rated the first 6 or 7 in the first couple of weeks, but there was 4 more still to go. We'll definitely have a look at those and continue on with that. But before we jump on into the liveries, you might have started seeing comments from certain drivers about the cars. You might have seen some comments, let's say, from Lewis Hamilton, where it's more complicated but potentially more exciting, or from Max Verstappen that says that it's almost like Formula E and it's not that special or anything like that, or maybe comments that you might have just seen from Fernando Alonso talking into the details that it's all about speed on the straight, so it's ridiculously slow around corners to make it faster on the straight line, and it's very easy to look at them and be a bit concerned, let's say, about this season. But just before we jump on the panic button that this is going to be the worst entertainment ever, let's not forget what happens when it's the other way around. When they start being overly positive before the season starts, and then we find out it's just terrible for overtaking and things like that. We're not even into a race yet, and it could still be a tactical battle. Look, the qualifying might be quite predictable, but there could still be a tactical battle that's going on during the races. We don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen in the races, and why would we, be doom-saying all the time before the season started? Let's keep an eye out. Let's see if we do get entertained, and if we don't, and all that, and we'll then consider it. And maybe it's something we consider in, like, let's say, a month's time, or end of March, I'd say, at the very least, where we've had a couple of races, and allows us to reflect on whether it is as bad as they're making it out to be. Is that all right? Just to hold off on the Armageddon of Formula One. I don't know. But anyways, that's just a side point. Liveries. Time to talk liveries. And again, similar to the first week that we did, we'll do it in chronological order. I think, again, there's been some absolute bangers that happened in the first week. Will we get the same in the second week? I have no idea. We are kind of looking at them live because I wanted to react to them right here and right now with you guys. So let's start off with Williams. Here we go. This is the Williams livery. Now, on first thoughts, it kind of looks pretty similar to the rest of them, and to previous, and I mean that's sort of fine. But I do love the little extra details that they've put in here. Like, what is different? The silver little sliver at the front, on the front wing. Nice little touch, classy touch. Same with the silver Komatsu on the sides as well. I mean, we're seeing some nice sponsors on it. I'm not sure of the wheels, but I like the silver flash that happens, and the way in which they've put the silver on the rear wing as well makes it look clean. Is the best way of putting it. It feels classy. Look, if I would love to have it back to the Williams of the 90s where it's white and blue and everything like that, but I like it. I feel like it's one of those where, well, to quote the sponsor that is on the sides, it's a keeper. So, yeah, not too bad. I thought that's a decent showing from Williams. I'm quite happy. Again, love to know your thoughts, but I quite like it. Then we move on to Cadillac, and my God, will be surprised for this one because we got a split livery. We haven't had this for years. The last time we had a split livery was it 2000 and so the 2000 1999, something like that. Anyway, where Jacques Villeneuve at BAR, and I mean that one was a mess because it wasn't designed to be a split livery. It was designed to be two different cars, and it turned out that was not correct. That was illegal, basically, according to the rules. So they decided to do a split livery instead, and I'm not sure. I like the idea of a split livery. Don't get me wrong, I love the idea of a split livery. But I think if I would have done it, I'd have potentially used a different colour than white or silver and black. I mean, we've got more images of it there, and I mean, I like the effects. The effects, top tier. The effects on the car is top tier. I think, and by the way, if that is genuinely chrome on there, then fantastic. I like the effects. I think if this had been something like what's a good example? You know the TVR style colours, like the sort of like the iridescent purpley blue or bluey green, and depending on where you looked, it was either blue or green. And I think if they'd have done that, this would be a top car. But it's like they've gone all out on the effects, they've gone risky on the effect, and they've gone safe on the colours. Ultimately, it's going to be a bit confusing depending on which side you look. You might think, you look on the one side and you think it's a Mercedes, and then you look on the other side and think, oh, it's a Haas. I don't know, but yeah, I think if they'd have done the colours, this would have been good. But for now, it just looks basic, like livery ads on the F1 games. I don't know, just maybe just would have been nice to have had a flash of colour. Like I say, I like the idea of like that TVI iridescent. There was a few colours that I used to do. It was like yellow and orange. It was, like I say, blue and green, purple and blue. There was, I think, a red and purple as well. That again, depending on where it looks a little bit different on the colours. I'd have gone for that. That would have absolutely slapped. Absolutely amazing. I can't believe we just used the word slapped. I feel too old to be using that word, but oh well. Anyways, that's Cadillac. Bit of a downer on that one. Now let's take a look at McLaren, and well, it's McLaren really, isn't it? I'm still yet to be sold on the orange. I know that obviously orange is the McLaren colours. I don't know. I think it just seems. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like a brave decision in corporate's mind. Like, it just looks a bit bland. That's to me anyway. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's like almost like the MasterCard colours or something like that, but it just feels like a corporate exercise. And look, I know that there's flashes of black in there that makes it different to last year's car, but yeah, I like McLaren as a team, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced that the livery is nice. I think the more I keep thinking about it, the less I like it. And when I say I don't like it, I mean it doesn't make me feel anything, right? I'm not talking about, ooh, that's a disgusting colour. It's not a disgusting colour. It's not an amazing colour. It doesn't stir up anything in me that makes me go, do you know what? That's a banging livery. Or, just a bit meh. I don't know. Maybe I'd have liked to have seen. Do you know what? Here's a great example, right? If McLaren had have used Cadillac's effects, it would have been brilliant. And if Cadillac had used McLaren's colours, maybe it would have been brilliant. But yeah, it just looks like somebody's gone a little bit nuts on clip art with a few shapes and done some things. I don't know. I think. Do you know what? If I was in charge of this, and especially given the fact that McLaren have been constructors champions 2 years in a row, Lando Norris has won the world championship as well, I'd have potentially added a bit of shine to the orange to almost make it look gold. Just maybe. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. And now we've got one final livery left, being Aston Martin. Now, I want to go on a bit of a rant about Aston Martin. And it's a rant defending Aston Martin as well. I'm seeing comments from friends, potentially even on social media, that this just looks the same as the old one. It doesn't look anything special, and just looks the same, like they've not really tried. I'm going to do pushbacks on this on both ways. Firstly, in terms of it being the same, they have done a couple of different things. The lime green that you see there, the blue on the rear wing. But that's not the point of my rant. The point of my rant is this. The very same people that say that all they want from a Ferrari is a red car, and they want it to be solid red, and they don't like it when they add different colours on there, like white or yellow, right? Are quite often the same people that say to Aston Martin, oh, you should change something about it. Which, in a way, is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You see, there's a reason why Ferrari is red. And it's down to the fact that before sponsors and everything like that, in the 60s of Formula One, Ferrari raced in red, not because it's Ferrari red, but because red was the national colour of Italy. That was the Italian colour. Ferrari wasn't the only ones that raced in it. Alfa Romeo also raced in red. Because of it being that colour, that was the national colour of Italy. Silver being the national colour of Germany. Or black, one of the two, right? And why do I bring this up? Because there is such a colour as British racing green. Green is the national colour that the British cars raced in. Before Lotus was plastered with sponsors, it raced in green. The Coopers from back in the day, they raced in green. That was the thing. That was the colour that a British car would be in. Green. France would be blue. Was another good example. Can't think of any others that were up around that time, but that gives an example. So if you want to make the argument that all you want from a Ferrari is a red car, a solid red car, and nothing changing about it, you also need to defend Aston Martin for exactly the same thing, that theirs needs to be British racing green and needs to be green all over. Now, thankfully, I'm not in that camp, right? I love the Ferrari with the white, the white halo. You would have seen my comments about that. So what do I think about this? I think it looks sharp, right? That lime green line that goes across, sharp. just little touches in different areas. We liked for Williams the Duracell battery style thing on the air duct. Well, guess what? We got that similar sort of style on the air duct of the Aston Martin. The blue stands out without really clashing, and the bits of black looks menacing. It's pristine. It's pristine. Can't say anything bad about it. I think it's a fine looking car. A fine looking British racing green Formula One car, like we've always had when there's been a proudly British team. Another good example, Jaguar. Jaguar was the British racing green team for so long. So yeah, that is my thoughts on that. Is it my favourite? No. I genuinely feel... Again, I feel like I'm on my own in this. I genuinely feel that because of the nerdiness of it, that the Haas car is my favourite. Genuinely, Haas car is my favourite livery of the lot. Again, I love the Toyota touches and all that sort of jazz. I think it's fine. But I'd love to know your opinions. We've now had all 11 liveries. I believe it was 11. I cannot remember. We've had all 11 liveries from the teams. I'd love to know your guys' favourite. Which is your favourite, and actually, which is your least favourite? And give me some reasons. The spicier, the better. But that's all we've really got to talk about. So, yeah, until next time, guys, all that's left to say is take